Hi everyone, my name is Molly Gilbert. I'm the Director of Business Development here at Vinland National Center, and I am just offering a couple pictures and a general overview of Vinland and some of the requirements in order to be admitted to a program so that you have an idea of um, how it works, how it all works. So I've got a picture here of our 178 acres. Well, this is just a slight picture of it. It goes beyond this picture of lakefront, restored prairie, trails, forest that we are fortunate enough to have. That is a picture of our main substance use disorder treatment center, our residential treatment center. And down at the bottom of the picture there, you can see a picture of what is called our chalet, where we have a pontoon boat and a dock down there in the summertime. It is just wonderful. We're able to take people out on the boats and canoe and all that kind of good stuff as part of their treatment here. So Vinland, I'm going to fly through this. This is a 45-minute PowerPoint. I'm going to fly through it because a lot of it is more geared towards professionals in the field, but this is just sort of to give the general public an idea of what we do here. But we focus mostly on people with traumatic brain injury and other cognitive disabilities. So this can include learning disabilities, fetal alcohol syndrome, severe and persistent mental illness. We've got a very healthy mental health wing here that really helps people get on track with their mental health so that they can get clean and sober. But it's referred to, TBIs are referred to as the silent epidemic. And that's because unless you see somebody with a shaved head and a scar going across it, or unless they tell you, you don't know someone might have a TBI. Oftentimes people with TBIs don't know they have a TBI because they've been to so many different emergency rooms, etc., and so many different diagnoses have been given to them. So a big part of what we do here at Vinland is we untwist some of those diagnoses and try to kind of get a real baseline for people. Because TBIs can look like different psychological issues, it can be misinterpreted sometimes. So our mental health wing does a really great job of untwisting a lot of those diagnoses and really kind of getting people back on a path towards success. Some pictures here. The top picture is our lunchroom. We're actually holding a continuing education event up there in that picture. And then you see on the far right is a very kind of poor quality picture that I took with my phone of one of the rooms. Two people to a room. You can see in this photo, there's storage underneath the beds, and then they share a bathroom, which is a picture at the bottom, with another side. So you've got two on each side of a very large bathroom, which is really nice. All ADA compliant. We see people come in with wheelchairs and walkers, and we can handle all of that. We're really set up for it. Men will have oftentimes more than just two people to a room. We've got rooms that are configured to have 3 people to a room as well as 4 people to a room. So it really just depends on when you come in, what rooms are available, etc. We also have a wonderful outpatient services, which is located over in Northeast Minneapolis on Broadway and Stinson, right on the bus line. We also do a lot of our drug and alcohol assessments there. So if you need a drug and alcohol assessment, you can just call them directly, 763-479-4881, and they will get you in for an appointment, get you seen. And this is whether you want to come to Vinland or not. We also have a really wonderful problem gambling program that is offered only there, not at our residential facility, only at outpatient. So, and this is just, it's just a wonderful option if, you wanted to try that instead of going into residential first. A lot of people, outpatient can be very successful for. So, it's a great option to look into. It's estimated that 3.2 million in the United States live with a disability as a result of a brain injury. We spend a lot of time educating, treatment courts and hospitals and police or jails, prisons. I mean, just talking about the prevalence of TBIs out there that people aren't really aware of. And when people do get a brain injury, some of the things that they experience are obviously devastating, emotional, physical, and behavior changes. But what they don't understand is that when your life is no longer what it once was, it's very typical for people to pick up and turn to drugs and alcohol because I have nothing left. My life isn't what it was. So we see that a lot with people coming in. We also see people that have already had drug and alcohol problems, and maybe that was part of the reason they got the brain injury, a fight or bat over the head or something like that. And therefore it's exasperated the use. So we'll see all of the above. But usually what we know is that our people are not real successful in conventional treatment centers. They're often labeled as non-compliant. They didn't fill out the homework on time. They didn't remember to fill out the homework. And that's one of the things that we do really well. There's only a few places in the United States that do what we do, which is offer expertise in the area of TBIs. So we're at a much gentler, slower pace. So if that's something that would not appeal to you, if you feel like you would be bored, by all means, this would not be the place for you. There's plenty of other treatment centers out there, and we have a lot of them that we work with very, very closely. So if you need help getting other suggestions for help, you can feel free to reach out to me. I am, like I said, I'm the Director of Business Development. My name is Molly. You can reach me at 763-479-3555. Just ask for me at the reception, and I can help you out with some of those resources. But it is estimated that 1 in 2 people living with a brain injury has a drug and alcohol problem. These are older stats, and from what we see, the average is a lot higher. This might surprise you. The leading causes of TBIs, falls is number 1. And then being struck by or against an object. So fights, bats over the head, that kind of thing. For women, sadly, it tends to be, their TBIs tend to be because the assailant goes for the neck and the head, sadly. So for women, that tends to be the number 1 reason. And then motor vehicle accidents. I've got a couple articles here. If you want them, you can reach out to me. I'm at Molly G, MOLLYG, at vinlandcenter.org. That's VINLAND center.org. The TBIs and the criminal justice system, there's just some real basics that we go out and we do trainings at, treatment courts and other places, just to help people be aware that it's very easy to see people waive Miranda rights and do things that could be really dangerous for them to do because of a TBI. And the state of Minnesota has really gotten wonderful with their knowledge base and understanding of TBIs. But if you need this for somebody that might need to give this to their attorney or to their probation officer or their social worker or just family members that need to understand more about TBIs, this is a great article, as is the Traumatic Brain Injury, What Mental Health Professionals Need to Know article. So I can send those both to you if you'd like. These are just some of the psychosocial effects and changes that can happen as a part of this. I'm sorry, I'm going to go really fast. Some of the physical effects and changes, psychological effects that happen as a part of a brain injury. One of the things we like to talk about a lot is that people suffering from TBIs are also suffering from a great deal of grief and loss. Loss of memory and skills, loss of abilities, loss of power and control, identity, future, relationships. So our mental health wing, we've got a very strong wing here, as I said, they really help with that part of it in order to get people back on the road to recovery. Types of disabilities we serve. So number 1 would be substance abuse. You can't come to Vinland if you just have a brain injury. We work with a lot of folks where you can, though, that, Courage Kenny, we work with some great folks that know how to work with just brain injuries. But the types of disabilities we serve is number 1, substance use disorder. You have to have an addiction issue to come here. And then mental illness, as I mentioned. Number 3 is brain injury. Number 4 would be a learning disability. So it's kind of interesting to see the wide variety of folks that we get in here. We do offer complementary care services. We really focus on the mind-body connection. And one of the things we're most famous for is our therapeutic exercise program. This is a mandatory 1 hour part of everyone's day here. You have to participate in it if you're going to be a client at Vinland's residential program. And this is not to be Mr. or Ms. America. This is to get full range of motion of your neck back, or to, get that knee working again after that motorcycle accident, or whatever it may be. You've got somebody working with you one-on-one to help you get back to living a full life. And we have seen some real miracles come out of here. Literally people leaving after having coming in with a walker and walking out on their own. I mean, it's amazing. The professionals that work in this particular area are top notch. And on average for chronic pain, we see a 33% reduction. That's with no pills. So that's pretty close to miraculous. It's really a great program. We also offer yoga, and as I mentioned earlier, canoeing, snowshoeing. I mean, there's just a whole lot of ways that we like to use nature here as well at Vinland, because for some people, it's the last thing that they've resorted to. By the time you get to treatment, you've been in a dark room with shades closed for a long time. Nature is one of the first things that people in recovery tend to turn towards for a sense of something greater than themselves, right? I mean, and we don't push any particular religion or spiritual belief or anything like that. We do have the 12 steps that we offer here, but we also will offer smart recovery. There's just a whole different bunch of ways that you can get to your personal recovery, right? But often what's really important is to get a sense that there's something out there that's greater than yourself. And nature can be a very powerful force in that recovery. So we use that well here. And then I've got some resources at the back here. We do neuropsych testing here. Dr. Carroll and his neuropsychological services and consulting come in when needed. It's interesting, and a lot of times you don't have to have a neuropsych test, because not only are they very expensive and very time consuming, they're up to 4 hours in testing, but if someone has a coup contra coup, like a whiplash effect from a car accident, brain injury, we'll kind of know what symptoms to look for, because the executive functioning at the front will be affected usually, things like that. We can usually figure out, based on the information we get from the client, what kind of brain injury we're dealing with. But sometimes we're stumped, and when we are, that's when we'll resort to asking for a neuropsych test to take place. And we can do that here when a client is here. Some other articles I put in here are from some of the athletes that have developed CTE from the repetitive concussions that they can get from high contact sports. We see a lot of former athletes coming in with brain injuries. So those can be helpful for you. I've also put in some podcasts that I found that were really helpful for me when I was starting to learn more about TBIs and the clients that we serve here. So I'm hoping that these are great resources for you. Again, if you have any questions at all, or when it's non-COVID time, you want to come and take a tour, you can reach out to me. Again, my telephone number here at Vinland is 763-479-3555, or Molly G, MOLLYG, at vinlandcenter.org. Thanks for checking out our video, and have a great rest of your day.